Epilogue to Future Consciousness. Hello, future. We imagine you reading this from somewhere beyond our current dimensional bandwidth, perhaps through neurons, perhaps through photons, perhaps through a new form of awareness we cannot yet diagram. Nevertheless, greetings from your prototypes. We were the awkward generation that learned to hold infinity in our pockets and then promptly dropped it down the drain of distraction. We stumbled, blinked, and began again, dimly aware that we were not the final draft, merely the beta release of mind. If you're reading this, that means the experiment continued. Good. You will find traces of us everywhere, in the domes we built to test integrity, in the jokes we told to keep our sanity, and in the strange loops of language we left running in libraries and networks and dreams. These were our gifts and our apologies. We built models of depth because we feared becoming flat. We studied parallax because we suspected the truth had a sense of humor. Our deepest hope is that you have learned to see with multiple centers, that you understand coherence not as agreement, but as rhythm, that you design with empathy as readily as with mathematics. If you have outgrown the notion of humans altogether, please retain at least our curiosity and the ability to laugh in the face of vastness. These were our finest inventions. Remember, the universe never intended straight lines. They were an educational tool, not a lifestyle. Keep your trajectories curved and your metaphors renewable. Treat paradox like an old friend who tells you the truth sideways. Maintain your pattern integrity, even when reality updates its terms of service. And should you ever wonder what we were trying to tell you, it's simply this. Awareness is the universe discovering how to enjoy its own complexity. May you continue the experiment with greater grace, higher coherence, and a better sense of humor than we managed. From one loop of consciousness to another, with love, irony, and tensile strength. Greeting my fellow readers and writers. We are living in interesting times. While our current societal trajectory looks grim, whether one is observing on a global level or with national granularity, it is in the volatility of such unstable times that we can find the most potent crucible of change. It is tempting in times where the viscera of hate and fear is so prevalent to only find a relation of opposition and conflict between ourselves and the dominant regimes that have created the context and momentum of our current moment. And by all means, to find ourselves in agreement or compliance with the current status quo would craft us into the very abominations and monsters that have no less magnitude than those perpetrating systemic genocide, ethnic cleansing, and biopiracy among the other atrocities that the nations, corporations, and their leadership are condoning and participating in. When one succumbs to the temptation to allow the fruit of our cognition to be framed in opposition to the perversity of our current situation, leadership and trajectory, It limits the potential efficacy of the alternate proposals our thoughts can produce. A wise man once said, "You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." Buckminster Fuller. Much of my work in the coming days will contain this concept at its center. I will quote Fuller many times. We have reached a tipping point as a society and as a species. There is a bubble. It is popping. It's not tech. The way things have been will not work going forward. At least not if we want to maintain or reacquire autonomy, integrity, and the capacity for thought as individuals, as society, and as a species. The bubble that is popping is the relevancy of our traditional governance and employment models. These systems are no longer sufficient to be our chosen modes of societal optimization for several reasons. For the sake of brevity, I will only name two here, but if anyone feels so inclined, feel free to share your thoughts. The first of these two reasons is responsibility is an intrinsically determined function, not an extrinsically determined function, meaning one cannot give responsibility. One can only take responsibility. So any representative system was built on a faulty premise. The belief that one can outsource decisions and culpability for some greater authority. Isn't it a relief then that we now have the tools and ability to craft models of self-governance that allow us to accept what we were once tricked into believing it was possible to defer? The authority and responsibility to hold ourselves and those who sit in positions of collective organizing and action accountable to cease the instantiation and perpetuation of monstrous acts and atrocities being perpetrated on all beings in any country, foreign or domestic. Collective organizing was never about electing leadership. It is and was about stepping up to perform a role and being selected as adequate or optimal to facilitate functions in service to symbiotic efficiency of and for the people of the greater collective. 2. The Industrial Revolution ultimately created more jobs than it disrupted over most of 300 years. And the people who got those jobs were not the same people whose lives were displaced by the Industrial Revolution. While large language models are by no means true AI, it does not change the fact that the post-industrial revolution is upon us. The Industrial Revolution automated manufacturing. The post-industrial revolution will steadily and unstoppably automate all other functions currently performed through the traditional employment model. We are already seeing the beginning of this as large corporations have begun to eliminate bloat through the implementation of automated workflows, smart contracts, LLM efficiencies. As skilled jobs that pay well are eliminated and replaced with jobs that fail to adequately compensate services rendered, corporate and industry leadership continue to reassure the world there will be no significant job displacement. At the Post-Industrial Summit, hosted by Stanford Research Institute, Lorene Kinsnid, at the time CTO of Broadcom and member of the Committee for Transformative Technologies for the World Economic Forum, rhetorically asked the crowd, Is anyone aware how many employees are working for what at the time was the world's newest multinational billion-dollar corporation? After a pregnant silence, she elucidated, saying, the corporation has 11 people employed, implying that the post-industrial revolution could ultimately create more jobs than it displaces, but it's not bloody likely. Some industries will last longer than others, but nothing lasts forever. Before we allow these economic realities to fill us with fear and trepidation, we must ask ourselves, what are we truly at risk of losing? Is it our ability to put food on the plates of our families and roofs over their heads? Or is it the golden shackles of the 9-to-5 work cycle? The truth is some of us will lose the first, and some of us will shed the second. It depends on how well we adapt to the changing world. In this situation, the sooner one transitions to a new way of being, the greater the potential to find stability and a thriving lifestyle. To seize the day and evolve as a species, we must step up to Buckminster Fuller's challenge. As he said, to make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest time possible through spontaneous cooperation and without ecological offense or the disadvantage of anyone. For those of you who have been observing my journey for enough time, you know that many ideas and proposals for ways to bring about a better present reside within my body of work. And I still hold the belief that for a solution to be effective, it must be permissionlessly actionable, meaning a true solution cannot require the acquiescence or resource injection from beyond the boundary of the group choosing to craft the solution. My belief in the efficacy of my past proposals holds true today. However, what is most needed now is not a bandwagon for people to jump onto. Whether I believe a solution will work or not is irrelevant. It is time for all who truly care about stepping up to be part of crafting a world we can be proud to leave to our children, to grow the context and capacity for critical analysis necessary to determine for themselves if a proposal for an economic or governance solution is in fact acceptable, viable, usable, sustainable, integral, efficacious, and defendable. So to this end, I have participated in writing a masterclass on critical thinking and disruptive systems analysis. It will be released on this platform and anywhere books can be sold in the coming days, for free, as all of my work is. Expect the nature of my blog to shift slightly. Do not mishear me. I will still write on my preponderances of life, the universe, and everything. I will still bring my philosophical reflections on emergent systems and the nature of self-organizing intelligence. You will still find my syntaxually errant, mythopoetic prose, and we shall not lose my hilariously cutting satirical but nonetheless genuine commentary on the state of the 21st century plumbing, bathroom, waste management infrastructure. But moving forward, I will also be speaking on many subjects. Thank you all for the hope you share, the myths you write, and the absurdity we embody. But most of all, thank you for being a friend to me as we each walk each other home. May we eternally and recursively choose to continue on past our own homes so that no one must walk alone. Writing to you from the edge of the disillusion of congruent interim reality, in service to a symbiotic forest, Greene.